Okay, let's hear from our race winner for today's first Budweiser Duel at Daytona. And back again in the media center here at Daytona International Speedway is Kevin Harvick, and he drives the number 29 Budweiser Chevrolet to victory lane here today, just like he did last Saturday night in the Sprint Unlimited. He's joined by crew chief Gil Martin. And Kevin, you're 2 for 2, and like you just told me, you'd like for it to be 3 for 3 come Sunday evening. So talk about this race car and as you get primed up trying to win that 500 again.
Yeah, obviously it's been a hello?
Broken. Try that one.
Hello? All right, we'll share. It's been a great start to Speed Weeks, obviously, with the Unlimited, and to get our first win with Budweiser on board for the first time in the duels is really cool. So the guys have just done a great job. Obviously, everybody thought we would qualify a little bit better, but we felt really good about our car yesterday after practice, and felt like we could make some moves. It's just you got to be precise with this car. Obviously, at the beginning of the race, got ourselves stuck in the middle, just trying to make something happen. Hadn't been in that particular position before to see what was going to happen. Didn't have a lot of help, and just one car in front of us, and kind of fell to the back, and then they got single file, and then everybody started, I think there was 4 or 5 cars started coming on the bottom, and I thought we needed to at least try to make something happen, and we're able to start side drafting and breaking them up 1 or 2 at a time, and we're able to work our way to the front. So I think that's only going to get better as you get all the cars in the pack, and hopefully on Sunday we'll be able to be right back here.
Good job. And Gil Martin, talk about maybe some of the changes you've made on the race car since you first started practicing last week.
We haven't made any changes from how we raced Unlimited on Saturday night. Basically, the weather was a little bit warmer, so we didn't have quite as much tape on the grill as we did Saturday. But as far as everything else with the car, the same way. The way the pit stops worked out, we just had to be out front like we were the other night. And once we were out there, he was able to do what he does best.
We'll take questions now for Kevin. We'll start down here with Lewis, then we'll go to Ed, and then to Alan. Kevin or Gil?
Yeah, for Kevin. Some of the other drivers, congratulations, by the way, some of the other drivers came in here and talked about the importance of staying in line. Maybe you didn't get much of a chance to see that being in front, but did you observe anything about the importance of staying in line?
Oh, yeah. At the beginning of the race, we got back to, 12th or 13th there, after we tried to go through the middle, maybe a little further back than that, and we were the last car in that particular line, and until the next group caught us, we weren't able to make many moves. So, but the good thing about today compared to the other night is that bottom, once you get 4 or 5 cars in it, can seem to make some ground on the cars on the top, even if they're lined up. So as that pack gets bigger, I think that's going to get even better, and you just got to be, if you find a slot to fill into the line, and you feel like your momentum has stalled in whatever line you're in, you need to get into that slot or you're going to go all the way to the back of it.
Let's go to Ed and then to Alan.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Kevin, you talk about hopefully 3 for 3 this week, but most years it seems like somebody comes down here, wins the shootout, and then wins a qualifying race, and when you get multiple victors, you become the favorite. Are you feeling like the guy to beat now? Do you feel like the favorite at this point?
Oh, we like to be the lame duck underdog, so that's what we're shooting for. It's one of those deals where you want to win, and we've been fortunate to win the first 2 races of Speed Weeks, and we just gotta keep a level head on our shoulders and not get too high over what we've done, and just do the same things that we've done, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But I think we definitely have the car and the team to be in contention to do that.
The other thing is Montoya and Biffle were both talking about that there's an effect where it seems like if they run up behind a car, they get on the bumper, and it's just almost like their car stalls and gets pushed back. Have you been able to take advantage of that? Have you seen that, and you think that is something you can work with out front, that when cars run up on you, it's almost like a bumper that seems to be stopping the second car?
It's like I told you guys the other night. It's just like it was 10 years ago. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's the same way that we used to race with the old style cars with no roof fins and nothing on top of them. It's the same style of race. It really is. Other than, I mean, handling even is coming into effect as we've seen in practice and the race today. So, you know, it's. I mean, I know Montoya wasn't around for that, and Biffle might not have been until the roof fins were, but it's just like that. It's the same style of racing.
We got Alan and then Jenna, and then over here to Randy. Go ahead, Alan.
Alan Cavana, NASCAR.com. You've been in front at the end in these two races. Is there anything to be learned on your part from playing defense, if you will, if you find yourself in that position on Sunday night where you have to stay in front on the last lap? Have you learned anything in these last two races?
Well, for sure. I mean, you know, today both lines were side by side, and you were able to kind of feed each line, you know, a little bit of air and try to keep them even. That's the best way to keep them at bay is to keep them side by side. So, you know, the other night those guys got a big run, and blocking came into play, and we were able to be fortunate enough to, you know, pull that block off and not get wrecked. So it's, you know, it's two different endings, but I think for us, you know, I want to be in the front and be in control of what's going on if we can get to that point and be able to dictate whether you need to block or move up, move down, side draft. You have options as a leader, and that's the position I want to be in.
Go ahead, Jenna.
Fire AP. My question's for both of you, and unrelated to racing, sort of. Kevin, you were talking about Keelan being here and Daytona being here, and how you're just relaxing and having fun. I mean, has fatherhood made you more, you know, mellower or changed your outlook on life or something? And Gil, as someone who, you know, has been through some ups and downs with Kevin, can you speak to that as well?
Well, I think for me, it's, you know, I've told several people this. It's added a new balance to my life to where I can still come to the racetrack and you're you know, I feel like I'm more relaxed and more focused, which is good for me. I don't get as wound up on things, you know, when they happen, whether it's in the car, outside of the car, you know, and when you've had a bad day and you're frustrated and you're right to that point where you can say something stupid, and you go back to the motorhome and you see that smiling face, it lets you get your mind off of things. So it's added a great balance to my life, and I think it's made me better.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with that. At the racetrack, his focus is still there, but as he leaves the racetrack with having Keelan to go back to, you don't have to go and look for some excitement outside of the track. It's already there waiting on him. So I think with that being in his life now, that's gonna do nothing but help him, and it's going to direct his focus on Sunday. I'm looking forward to watching what happens.
Other questions? Over here to Randy, to your left.
Yeah, Randy Cove with Kansas City Star. You mentioned the lame duck thing. Can you just talk about what these two finishes and these two races kind of show the focus of your team being in this situation? What does that say about the team and say maybe about the season?
Well, I think as we approached the end of last year, obviously with Gil and the consistency of the guys, and over the winter they knew exactly what they were going to do, and everybody was focused on building race cars, and there wasn't really any drama. The drama was over. You know, once Richard and I had talked about everything that was going to happen at the end of this year, the emotional side of it was gone. Everything was pretty much done. So, you know, we'd both agreed to just put all the effort in, and I think from an RCR standpoint, they're putting all the effort they can into it, and you know, I'm going to put all I can to it. And Gil and these guys, they don't care. They just want to win races. They're going to work on the car, whether it's a guy that's going to be here tomorrow or is going to be here for 20 years. I mean, their job is the same. So, you know, we have a lot of responsibility to be professionals and do our jobs, and we have a lot of pride too. So pride is key in this whole situation as to how we perform.
Let's go over here to Mike Embry to the far left, and then we'll go to this young lady right here.
Mike Embry, Speed.com. Kevin, we had another wreck today of the sort of side-by-side air, whatever variety. What's your view on what's causing those, and are you concerned about that for Sunday?
You know, we've been fortunate to have a pretty good handle in race cars so far. My car definitely got looser today, but I haven't seen the one in the race yet. I saw the one with the 39 in practice, and I heard a lot of guys talk about their cars being loose in the Unlimited, and we never experienced any of that. So I think it's just a matter of how you came down here with the balance of your race car. You know, Gil and I talked about, you know, what we thought we needed coming down here after the test, and went a particular direction, and it's worked out for us. But I'll have to go back and watch the one race. I can't answer that one.
Go ahead, right here.
Donna Beth Wellenman from the Benicia Herald. You come from Bakersfield, and of course I'm California too. Talk to me a little bit about what it was like in Bakersfield, and do you ever hear from folks from back home?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of friends still in Bakersfield, and my whole family still lives there. So we go back frequently to visit, and we do a lot of foundation work. Go and do a lot of things with my old high school for the last several years, and so we do a lot in the town. And I was fortunate to grow up in California, but in a racing town. There wasn't too many of those in California. So Bakersfield's supported from drag racing to go-kart racing to oval track racing, dirt and asphalt. So it was a great place to grow up.
Go down here. Oh, Dwight has one, and then we'll go to Steve.
Dwight Drum, RaceState.com. Gil, as far as from the testing, the difference between, can you explain to fans what you've learned from testing to the actual conditions of a race, like today? Or?
Well, from testing, obviously, we did a lot of just single-car runs, so there wasn't a tremendous amount we could learn, excuse me, from the testing as far as drafting goes. But fortunately, I was around what Kevin's talking about 10 years ago, and we kind of knew what those cars needed back then, and that hasn't changed a great deal as far as the setups onto the car. I was a little bit surprised by that the setups that we'd run a while back are still working now, and hopefully they'll continue to work one more day.
Go ahead, Steve.
With PRN. Kevin, could you talk about how this car drove today compared to the shootout car, since you've had practice and adjustments, things like that? Was the comfort level higher in this car than it was when you won the other night?
No, the comfort level was definitely not as high. Just for the fact that the car was just up on top of the racetrack a little bit more on the exits of the corner. So, but very manageable. Still, you just had to pay a lot more attention to controlling your race car than just trying to make a move. You had to concentrate on both instead.
Go ahead, John, and then we'll come over here to Terry.
John Reyes and Reyes Broadcasting. This is for Kevin and Gil. We've run 60 laps today, and Sunday is going to be about the best weather we've seen throughout the whole week. Is there any compensation you're going to have to make when you run that many laps if the track get a little hot with these new cars? No one has spoken about that as far as I know.
Yeah, I think the weather's going to be, maybe a couple degrees hotter, but not a whole lot. I think as we go into the weekend, so that'll at least make some easy decisions for us as we go into the weekend as far as handling goes and what we need to do. But I think as you get into a long race like that, obviously you only had one pit stop today. You're going to have multiple pit stops, and you're going to have to change 4 tires at some particular point. So you're going to see the field get mixed up just because people are going to be on varying strategies for sure.
Go ahead, Terry.
Terry Blunt, ESPN.com. Kevin, it was kind of follow the leader there for the first 35 laps. Nothing really happened, and then you made a move, and a lot started happening. What happened there on lap 36 to cause you to all of a sudden decide that was the time to go?
Yeah, we felt like the 99 and whoever was behind him, we felt like they were making some ground, and we didn't come here to run 10th or 12th, wherever we were running. We wanted to try to make something happen, and felt like that we probably could have made something happen before that if we had had a car behind us to fill in a couple of those gaps in front of us. But those guys were making up ground on the bottom, and everybody seemed pretty content on the top. So we just kind of slid down in front of the 99 and started side drafting, and those guys were side drafting, and next thing you know, we had 4 or 5 of them pulled apart, and we're making some headway. So we drove pretty much all the way to the front and kind of changed the complexion of the race at that particular point.
Other questions? Mike Mulhern?
Oh boy,
I'm still waiting for that.
I like how you just stand up to ask your question with authority.
I want to make sure that you see me.
I got you.
I got my running shoes on too. If you don't like the question, that pit stop that you made with Trevor right behind you, were you trying to squeeze him to the outside, or were you trying to get a better angle into your stall? He got off in the grass, and I guess everybody gets jammed about down there anyway.
Yeah, I looked up, right before the yellow line, and thought that he had fallen into line, and next thing I know, I'd shoved him in the grass. So just the way it worked out.